So of course, this technology is not being introduced into a vacuum. It's going to have massive, massive impacts on how we actually interact with each other. And so to give us a sense of what this actually looks like at the human level, how it changes our relationship to governance, to each other, and in general, what kind of our new responsibilities are as people, I'd love to bring up Stefano. So Stefano Foresti is the Associate Director of Citrus and the Bonato Institute at UC Merced. He brings together teams to solve complex information technology problems in medicine, cybersecurity, and collaboration, leading to new patents, products, and publications. As Director of Innovation at the UC Merced School of Engineering, he coordinates research and academic programs in innovation while cultivating relationships with industry for programs including the Innovation Design Clinic, engineering capstone projects, Citrus mobile app challenges, and Innovate to Grow. Here's Stefano.
Thank you. Okay, so I thought that after all the various talks about cybersecurity, I think it's time to try to wrap it into the context of CITRIS, the Center for Information Technology Research in the Interest of Society. And so what I thought about is to provide a call for action. And I want to bring to your attention one of the challenges that are underlying today's world of big data. And the question is, who owns the data? And I want to, in order to start with that, I wanted to go back to the fundamental that when we have physical objects, they're typically hard to replicate and pretty easy to tell the difference between one and the other. But in information, it's the opposite. Information can infinitely replicate. And so the result of that is that as soon as information is gone, someone can derive value from it. And so this is a problem that has always been there. And indeed, intellectual property or systems were designed to solve this problem. Like, so what is a patent? A patent is a registration of and a timestamp of some information that enables the author to have control and potentially derive value while this information is made public. So, and this has worked really well for compounded, big, complex information objects, but it is not scalable to smaller data. And this is the world we live in today, is that we have massive amount of small data that in the aggregate become big data, where who derives value out of this? And it's typically all the organizations that are they have the means to collect or to aggregate this data. And at that point, the concept of ownership disappears, because all it matters is to have it in their hands and derive value. So I wanted to step back 1 second and talk about people. So let's look at what has happened for the last 100 years, where practically I'm looking at the three objects that have characterized the life of the last 100 years. And when we look at what is the most valuable asset that people have had, is most people, the home, followed by the car. And now what we're seeing today, we're seeing that the trend started with the smartphone, and now getting into the cars, and now into the homes, where ultimately the physical object matters much less, because these are recording devices that collect a lot of data, and they're based on software that you take a license to. So now the question is, now we have these huge amounts of data that people don't own, or the people don't really have a way to take value out of. And you have all these things that are losing value, and so you can quickly derive that people are getting poorer. So now some people have started to calculate what we're losing for all these small data into big data that becomes that is very valuable. And if we put together this loss of value together with the trend that we're seeing, and several are talking about the the new generation automation or artificial intelligence, and the impact on jobs and the workforce. Now, well, it's not surprising then that most of the tech billionaires, and last one is Mark Zuckerberg at the Harvard commencement, they think that the solution is the universal basic income and it makes sense because what they want to keep the system the way it is, in which people can keep generating data. I think there is a better way, and we can do much better than that. Ultimately, we should try to build a true information economy where people can be attributed data, control data, and ultimately derive some of the value that of their use. So now, how to do this? And so now let's go back 1 second to the patents. The concept was there. So we have a timestamp, timestamping, the attribution, more than the ownership of information, with ability to give some access control, and a system of accountability so that can keep track of its use. And this has to be distributed because it has to be ultimately scalable. So hopefully the blockchain can do it. Thank you.